Hey, what is up everybody? My name is Mark and I'm from SalonBridge, and welcome to our very first live stream of SalonBridge. So firstly, just to let you guys know, I am monitoring some of the comments from YouTube as well as from Facebook. So if you guys do have any questions, feel free to put them there and I will answer them whenever we get a gap. The other thing just to bear in mind that this is a very casual session. It's not meant to go into any kind of significant depth of what SalonBridge can do. We're really just going to cover some of the basics over here, explaining what we do, how we typically help salons and spas, and then going into some of the basic configuration of SalonBridge, how it works, how online bookings works, and we're still going to take it from there. So as a starting point, I thought what I would then maybe just do is let you know that I am broadcasting live from Woodstock. I'm at the Woodstock Exchange. We're at the Mest co-working space. It's a really cool space. It is a little bit quiet. It is 6 o'clock in Cape Town, so everybody's finished work a long time ago. So to start off, we've got 6 basic talking points for tonight's session. Starting off with what is SalonBridge and why do I basically need it. So SalonBridge is essentially an appointment management system that allows you to manage your salon or spa. It obviously allows you to keep track of your appointments, your customers, your payments, your retail items, your stock control. It allows you to do a full POS functionality. And it also incorporates features like online bookings, automatic customer reminders, and a host of other features that we have also recently launched. We also released our loyalty platform yesterday evening, so I will be touching on that. It is one of the slightly more advanced topics, so I might touch on it, but it'll be a very high-level overview. If we do have time, what I'd also love to discuss is how our app works. I can show you how it works through this platform. I'm hoping that it works really well. So we'll see from that side how it actually goes. Also, let me know if you guys enjoy these type of sessions in the comments. You know, it's something that we would really like to continue doing, possibly as a medium to advertise new features. But also just on general topics like, you know, general good practices for your business, your salon, your spa, that sort of thing. So building on what SalonBridge does and what we do, this is the web console that you guys can see now. I'm in the corner, so you know, pay no attention to that. This is really the dashboard that you get access to when you sign up with SalonBridge. So one of the most important things to remember with SalonBridge is that it is web-based. It is a cloud-based system. There is no way to install it on your local machine. It is completely cloud-based, and our model works on a monthly subscription. So you pay per month. We don't charge any We don't charge any installation fee. We do free account setup. We do quality control on all of the companies that we get set up with SalonBridge. And then also we help them to set up their online bookings to make sure that it's actually aligned with what their growth goals are. You know, somebody that's starting out their salon or spa might want to look at incorporating online bookings as a medium to help themselves grow, whereas a more established salon or spa might want to start introducing it as a means for their existing customers to start booking after hours, which makes it a really useful platform. It is one of those things that is quite daunting to start off with, because a lot of people get the perception that online bookings gives full control of the therapist or the stylist's calendar to the client, whereas that is completely untrue. And I'll show you a little bit about how it works. I'll actually do an online booking on this test account, and you guys can see what it looks like. And then let me know what your feedback is on that and what you guys think. So the system being cloud-based has a number of benefits. You can access it from anywhere in the world. You know, if you run a chain of salons or spas, it becomes especially useful because it gives you the power to start to manage your businesses from anywhere. You can be sitting on a beach and you could log in to have a look at your cash-up report for the day for one of your salons in Cape Town or Joburg or Durban, and you can do this from anywhere. So it does have certain benefits. You do require an internet connection for SalonBridge. You do not require a fast internet connection. We have customers that have fiber lines, and we have customers that run off of a Wi-Fi dongle off their phone. The reality is that it can work with either. SalonBridge uses a very, very small amount of data, so you know it's something that hasn't really become a major issue in anybody that we've done an installation for. So moving on to our second talking point, which is really configuring the business inside SalonBridge. So think of SalonBridge as the business management tool where you can put in all of your information about your business. You can capture all of your staff information, all of your retail items, all of your services and treatments. Everything gets captured inside here, and this then gets filtered through to the online bookings as well as to your reports. So as a starting point, you'll see that once you log in with your email address and password that we give you when you actually sign up with us, you get access to a calendar on the left-hand side of the screen, and I'll come back to this now. The clients section, which allows you to keep a running history of your clients, their appointments that they've come for in the past, all of their birthdays, and all the messages that we send to them. You also are able to keep track of their accounts. So accounts is something that often raises quite a bit of confusion. The best way to think of an account is like a bill. When you go for a treatment at a particular salon or spa, your treatment goes onto the bill. In this case, it's the client's account. When a payment gets made that is equal to the amount owed, the account gets closed. If the client doesn't end up paying for whatever reason, the account stays open, and that allows you to keep track of what that customer actually owes, which is quite useful, especially if you run a situation where you allow clients to pay on account. So a client might come for 5 or 6 treatments during the course of the month, and they'll only pay via EFT or credit card at the end of the month when they come, and this is a nice way of keeping track of that. The gift cards section allows you to issue and redeem gift cards through the system. So if you're wanting to start issuing gift cards or vouchers to your clients, the system allows you to generate voucher codes, which can then be used to pay for treatments at a later date. The My Business section is really only visible to administrators, and you'll see there's quite a lot of options over here. The important thing to remember with the My Business section is that most of it is purely configuration. You know, a lot of people find that the My Business section is quite overwhelming. There's a whole lot of menu options, but it's really important to remember that this is mostly addressed at the setup phase. For example, the business info section allows you to customize your business information, your description, your company logo, your address information. And this information is used in 2 key sections. One, it pulls through to your company invoices, which SalonBridge allows you to generate. And it also pulls through to the online bookings page. So if, for example, and I'm jumping ahead here, but if I go to the online bookings page that we provide you, you can see that it's got the information that I have put in here with the logo that I've uploaded in the business section. The other bits of information here are your hours and scheduling, and we'll cover this in a slightly more detail. The services section, which allows you to add, edit, and remove your services. Your retail items, we allow you to keep track of your professional stock. Your staff, your reporting, loyalty, which is one of our newer features, which I'll touch on. Marketing, which allows you to send out bulk SMS messages to all of your customers. A really popular feature, especially if you're running specials in some of the winter months, becomes a really powerful mechanism to get new business. The online booking section and the integrations, and then some general settings over here as well. So as a starting point, you know, once you've logged in for the first time, what I always like to do is go to the My Business section, go to Business Info, and just make sure the business information is correct. We usually do this during the quality control setup process anyway, But it's nice to come in here, you can click on edit, and you can change this at any time. If you feel like you want to change what that business description is, you can come in here, you can change it, and it filters through to your online bookings page automatically. The same thing goes for your business information, your email address, your phone number, etc. The process for uploading a logo is really straightforward. You just come in here, you click on edit, and then you can choose a file to actually upload. The address information, some people choose not to have their address on the online bookings page, and this is quite true or relevant for your owner-operator salons and spas. The people that operate by themselves out of their home that don't feel comfortable sharing their address, and that's perfectly fine. You can leave this information blank, and SalonBridge will not publish your address on the online bookings page or anywhere for that matter. And this, like I said again, this can be edited at any time. Your hours and scheduling allows you to really create some powerful tools around specifically staff scheduling and how you want to manage your staff shifts. So this isn't entirely relevant for your smaller salons or spas. If it's just yourself using SalonBridge, then you really wouldn't need to worry too much about this. But as an example, if you go to the staff scheduling section, what this basically allows you to do is it'll show you a list of your staff members, and you can see when their working hours are. And this is set under the staff section. But if you've got a staff member that's maybe working a little bit late tomorrow, or they're taking an early shift, you can just click and slide on this bar, and this will adjust their working hours accordingly. So if this staff member, for example, is working 8 to 4 as opposed to 9 to 5, you can really easily change that in the staff scheduling section. The other useful section underneath hours and scheduling is closeouts. And closeouts is something that we get a lot of questions about. You know, one of the questions we get is, what happens if I want to close myself off for an hour every day and I don't want customers to make a booking during that time? This is what closeouts essentially does. It lets you create a block of time that isn't an appointment where nobody can book. So if you are, another really great use case is, let's say you're going on leave for the holiday period and you want to block your calendar off for a week or two so that nobody can book. You can do this via closeouts, and you can do it for all staff or particular staff. You know, if somebody wants to take leave, for example, this can be done from the appointment calendar as well, and I'll show you how you can do that. But this is just a section where you can monitor it on a sort of wider basis. The services section is where you can see all of your services, and one of the great features that we offer, well, I certainly think it's a pretty cool feature, is we offer free account setup. So what that means is that if you decide to go ahead with us, rather than have to sit inside the SalonBridge system and capture your services one at a time, we will request a price list from you, a list of your staff, a list of your retail items, and we'll literally do an import for you. So this normally happens overnight, depending on the size of your data. But what this means is that you can log into the system the next day and your entire system will be completely set up for you. You can literally just start making appointments and sending your clients reminders instantly, and that's a really nice feature. So from here, you're able to see the existing services that we've added. For the purpose of this demonstration, I've created 2 categories, one called hair and one called nails. If I click on this, I can see a list of the services that I've added. If I want to edit any of these services, I can simply click on it, and it will take me to the service where I can then change the name of it, I can change the duration, I can change the service cost, the transition time, and the processing time. A question that we get quite often on services is, what is the difference between the service duration, which is set over here? What is the difference between that, the transition time, and the processing time? So the best way to think of this is the service duration is the amount of time it takes to actually do the service. So if you are doing, in this example, a gent's cut, which is a haircut, I've set this to be for 30 minutes. If you need a 5-minute or 10-minute period after this treatment to reset your workstation, to clean up the room before the next client comes, you would create a transition time. And what this does is, without the customer knowing, it adds this amount of time to the end of the service. So when a customer books this service, they'll see that it takes 30 minutes. But when they book it, it will take the duration of the service plus the transition time and block that off in your calendar so that the next customer can't come before your transition time is over. The processing time is mostly used in the hair industry, and it's really used where you have a service like a root tint or foils, where once you've applied the foils or the actual color, the customer needs to step aside essentially and allow for the actual coloring or the foils to actually do their work. And during this time, you can potentially see another customer. So if, for example, and I'll show you how this works in the calendar, I'll show you under the root tint, for example. I've created a root tint service which lasts for, that's not correct, let me set that to 30 minutes, with a 30-minute processing time. So what this is going to do is, if I book a root tint followed by a blow dry, it will leave a 30-minute gap after the root tint is finished. And during that time, another customer can potentially book, or you can fit in another customer over there. The SalonBridge system does allow you to double book yourself. We understand that this is obviously quite a popular trend inside the industry, and you shouldn't be limited by how many customers you can squeeze in at a time. And this allows you to do that really easily without having to sort of see your overlapping appointments, basically. I just clicked on save there, so once you've finished making your changes, just click on save. The other nice feature that we allow you to do with services is to change the order of your categories, and this really filters through to your online booking. So if you have a category called specials, for example, and you wanted that to appear first, all you would do is you would click and drag this to appear first. And then it will appear like this on your online bookings and everywhere that appointments get made. The process for adding services are also really straightforward. You would simply click on Add Service. You would type in the service name. You would choose from a list of categories that you've already added. And if it's a new category, you would just click on this little plus icon. You would type in the new category name and put in the service duration and the price and anything else that's relevant. You'll notice that when adding or editing a service, you can choose whether this is shown online or not. So sometimes you might not want to display all of your services online for online bookings, and that's okay. You would just untick that tick box and it would hide it from online bookings. We also allow you to choose which staff are able to do this service. So sometimes a staff member is not necessarily qualified to perform a particular treatment or a service, so you wouldn't want a customer booking something with them when they're not actually qualified to do it. In that case, you would just specify who the allowed staff members here are. And that's pretty much services. There's really nothing fancy to it. Obviously, services get added and removed and edited on a fairly regular basis. And you can come in here at any time, you can change it. When you change a service's price, it doesn't affect the bookings that have already been made with that service. So just something to bear in mind, if you do have a price increase, that it wouldn't affect all of your previous bookings, it would only affect future bookings. The retail section allows you to add all of your retail products, so the stock that you would sell to your customers. And this is also where it keeps track of your inventory. So whenever you sell one of these products, it will get deducted from the actual inventory, and you can report on this. So you can do a stock level report to make sure that the amount that's in the system correlates to what's on your actual shelves. And this is quite important, especially as you grow, to make sure that there isn't a case of potential theft, or maybe somebody's bought a product that hasn't been rung up. It really just shows you how to do that. The staff section is where you would add and edit your staff members. The way that SalonBridge works, its pricing is largely based on the amount of appointment accepting staff members. So our entry-level package is really reasonably priced at 299 Rand per month. That includes all of our features, but it would be for a single owner-operator business. In this case, I've added myself as an example and 2 therapists just for the purpose of the demo, so you can see how the calendar divides it up and how the online bookings actually works. You're able to click on any one of these staff members and you can see their information. You can see you're allowed to put in a service and retail commission over here. So we do have under the reporting section a commission report, which will allow you to generate the commission for a staff member automatically. And you can also customize the working hours for each staff member. So we have two sections over here. One is your normal working hours and one is the online booking hours. The difference between the two is that the working hours that get populated over here is what appears on the main appointment calendar and in the stylist or therapist's app. The online booking hours are what the clients see when making an online booking. So if you are open on Monday to Saturday, for example, but you only want your customers booking from Monday to Friday, what you could do is then you could leave the working hours to be from Monday to Saturday, but then on your online booking hours, you can just say not working on Saturday, for example. And that's how you could do that really easily. From the screen, you're also able to customize what services each staff member is able to do. And the process for adding a staff member is just as simple. You click on Add Staff Member and you put in their information. When you add a staff member, their email address is used as the primary login. So what happens is the moment you add the staff member, they'll get sent an email with their username and password so that they can log into the app and the system, so you don't have to worry about getting access to their password and having to send it yourself. We do also allow you to customize the access permissions for staff members. So I'm logged in as an administrator right now, so underneath my business, I can see everything from services to retail to reports. I can add, edit, remove these things. But if I were logged in as an individual, I would only be able to see my own appointment calendar and I would only be able to run the reports for myself. So I could only see my own sales and revenue report, for example. One popular way of managing a spa or salon with multiple users is to create a receptionist user that is used to log into the main reception desk. And the receptionist is able to see everybody's calendar, but they're also not able to add and edit services, for example, or remove retail items. That type of privilege is reserved for administrators and managers. So just something to bear in mind when actually adding staff members. So the next item that I'll briefly touch on is loyalty. I'm not going to go into too much detail on this. It is something that we just recently launched, so it is obviously phase one. So just bear it in mind that this is still going to expand. But basically what it lets you do is create a loyalty program for your business. And you can define what the rewards threshold is, when it needs to actually start. So if you want to preempt a loyalty program for your customers, you can do that. We've only opened it up to be applicable for appointments and to customer visits for now. But the process to create a loyalty program is really straightforward. You click on Create Loyalty Program. You would give it a name. You would specify when you wanted it to actually start. So you can say this must only start on the 1st of August, and anybody that comes from the 1st of August afterwards would only be rewarded for loyalty from then onwards. We allow you to issue loyalty currently only for services, but we are opening it up for retail purchases as well. So you could potentially have multiple loyalty programs, one which is reserved for customers that come for appointments, and the other one that comes when customers actually purchase retail. Again, you can then choose a type, whether it's based on the amount of times customers come to actually see you or the amount of money that they actually spend with you. So again, the option is yours. And then we have a reward threshold, which is essentially at what point do you want to start rewarding the customer. So the best way to think of this is about basically a physical loyalty card. You know the card that you would get, and every time you would go for an appointment, you'd get a little sticker or a stamp. Basically, it works exactly the same way. And the reward threshold is how many stickers the customer would need to get before they can get a discount or a free treatment or something to that extent. When the customer hits this level, the next time they come, we do set up a flag for you so you know that this customer is eligible for loyalty. The benefit of this is that you don't have to start issuing loyalty cards. It does it all automatically for you in the background. Every night we check to see which clients have actually come, and we start to issue loyalty that way, and we let you know which of your clients have actually generated enough loyalty to earn a reward. And you can report on this as well. So these are all available inside the actual reports. The other slightly obvious section is underneath settings, where you're able to change your login details. So when you register with SalonBridge, we give you a pretty generic password, but it's something that you can make your own just by going to login details, and you can click on edit and actually change whatever password you want. The billing information over here is really where you're able to change your billing details, and this is what appears on your invoices. The customer notifications I'll get into in a minute, but basically this is where you're able to customize the way in which your customers are notified. So, whenever an appointment gets created, if you want SalonBridge to send the customer an SMS and an email automatically, you can enable it over here, and we'll do that for you. And this works very similarly to the reminders. So a very popular option is to send a reminder of the customer appointment the day before. So that, for example, if I've got an appointment tomorrow, I would get an SMS and an email today at 3 o'clock saying, don't forget about your appointment at 3 o'clock. And it basically just helps to prevent those no-shows. And also it does let customers respond to it if something's come up, if there's been an emergency. If customers do respond to any of the SMSs that SalonBridge sends, we now send it directly to the business, so you can actually see what customers are responding to as well. So I've gone through a lot of the menu options, and it's been extremely boring, so I apologize for that. But I really just wanted to go over the high-level overview of the menu options. Again, most of it is all configuration. The staff, the services, the retail get done before you even go live. So if I go back to the home section over here, I'll see that I can see a section for today's appointments, and this will show me any client that has an appointment today. And I'll also see a graph, which essentially shows me the history for the last 6 months. So if I want to see a graph of how many appointments I had since January, I can see whether the business is doing well, or if maybe I need to work on my marketing a little bit better, etc. If I jump in and go to the appointment calendar, so if I click on the appointment calendar over here, it will load up the appointment calendar for me on today's date. And here you can see the 3 staff members that I have added. Now, if I were to adjust the order of the staff members, I can do this as well. You can jump between days over here just by clicking on the arrows. I can jump back to today, or I can jump to a particular day. If I want to go to the 12th, for example, I can do that. I can also see what the week looks like, or if I want to see an overview of the month, I can do that as well. This is a fresh account that I created today for the purpose of this demo, so it really is quite empty. So just take that into consideration. If I wanted to make an appointment, I can either click on a time slot underneath a particular staff member, and this will come up asking me for the customer's name and what they're coming for. We do also have right-click functionality in here. So if I right-click on the appointment calendar, I can select to do a new appointment, a new retail sale, or a new closeout. And a closeout is what I mentioned earlier about taking leave and how you can put that in. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to right-click and say new appointment to start off with. And I'm going to type in my name because I'm an existing client over here. And you'll see what happens is SalonBridge actually keeps track of all of your customers for you. So as I start to type my name, my details will come up, and I can just click on that, and the email address and mobile number gets automatically populated. If the details change, I can obviously just update it over here. And these details are primarily used for the notifications. So once I book this appointment, the customer will get a SMS if they've been configured to do so, and if we have their valid mobile number. I can now choose a treatment, and I can just click on this, and I can choose a treatment from the list of treatments that we've added. You'll see that when doing this, there's also a search bar over here. So if I wanted to search for, if I type root tint comes up. So if I have hundreds and hundreds of services, you can start to type, and we'll do a lookup for you on all of your services and only display the relevant ones. So if I choose root tint, for example, you'll see that it automatically puts in the duration that I've set for that service, which is a half an hour. Now, if this customer were to come for a cut and blow dry, for example, afterwards, I would just click on this plus icon, and I could then choose to actually add something else. So I could then do a ladies cut and dry. If it's with a different staff member, you can just choose the different staff member from this drop down over here, and it will automatically put it in the appropriate blocks. When a client is coming for a particular treatment, we will always default the duration to be what's been configured under the services section, but you can change this at any time. If you know that this customer comes for I'm not going to come for a ladies cut and blow, I'm going to come for a gents cut. If you know that this client takes maybe a little bit longer, you can click on the end time and you can make it a little bit longer. So I'm going to make this until maybe 14:45. You can make specific notes about the appointment, and you can also make this repeat as well. So if you've got a client that comes every single week at the same time for the same treatment, or once every second week, you can have it put in the booking automatically into your calendar. When I click on save, the appointment gets booked, and you'll see that it's put it under each each staff member's column correctly. What you'll also notice is that when I move my mouse over each appointment, it brings up a little bit of information. And a lot of you are obviously watching on your phones or your mobile devices, so you might not be able to see this. But what it essentially does is it shows you the client's information. It'll say Mark Ra Root Tint. It'll show you their contact number, who the staff member is, and it will also show you any of the client notes that you've made. So one of the really popular things we allow you to do is to create a client note. This can be something that is completely specific to that client. And I just did a silly example here where I said, Mark loves coffee when he arrives. He will usually ask for threading if he forgets to book. These notes are only visible to the staff members. They are not visible to the clients at all. They pull through to the app automatically. So if your therapists are using the SalonBridge app, then the notes will appear there automatically as well. And you can see the status of this is now confirmed. What I can also do is I can move this booking around. So you'll see that if I move my mouse over the booking and I move my mouse to the where it says the time, I can click and I can make it a little bit earlier if I want to, and I can make it a little bit later. And every time I do this, it's going to make sure that I'm actually sure about it. So it's going to say, are you sure? I can just click on cancel because I've made a mistake there maybe. And actually, I remember I made a mistake when I clicked on Root Tint. It needs to be a little bit longer. So I can move my mouse to the bottom of the appointment, click on it, and just drag it to be a little bit longer. And it's simple as that. The appointment time gets extended. We allow you to right-click on these appointments as well. And you can do a couple of things with this. You can cancel the appointment, and you can also set the status of the appointment. So in large salons and spas, sometimes you might have a staff room where your therapists are sitting and watching the calendar. You don't necessarily want all of your staff sitting by the reception area. You can let the staff know that this customer has arrived, for example, and it will automatically change color so that your staff know that this client has actually arrived. We do automatically change the color of the appointments based on status. For example, once the client is paid in full, the appointment color changes to green automatically. So in this example, once the customer is paid, what I would usually do is go to the account and I would then capture that payment. I can do that either just by doing a single click on the appointment, or I can right click on the appointment and I can say go to account. This will bring up the bill, essentially, and it will show me everything that this client owes. I can, from this screen, add retail items. So if the customer on their way out wants to purchase a shampoo or a conditioner or some other retail product that you sell, you can click on add delete stock on the top right hand side of the screen over here. You can then specify who the selling staff member is. So sometimes somebody else might have actually sold it to them. And this then pulls through to your commission reports as well. So it's important that the correct staff member gets chosen over here. You can choose the actual retail item that they sell, the quantity, and you can adjust the price if you like. When I click on save, the retail item gets added automatically to the bill, and I can see that I now owe 520 Rand. From the bill screen or the account screen, I can also do a couple of things here. I can create a pro forma. And a pro forma is really like seeing a bill before the client actually pays. And it's a nice way to print out something to give them before they've actually made a payment. So if I click on create pro forma, It's going to ask me if I'd like to see what this client owes today or what they owe in the future as well. I'm just going to say owed today. And it's going to show me a pro forma, which is really just going to include my business logo, the information about your salon or spa and everything that this client owes, with any payments that have been made as well. Again, this pulls through all of your information, not the SalonBridge information. What you can also do is you can email this directly to the client. So if you have a customer that's booking from overseas and needs to make a payment, you can say email client invoice, and you can say everything that's owed today, and you can just say send client invoice. It's going to pull in the information automatically, and it will then send them an email with a pro forma for them to actually see. The process for making a payment is really straightforward. All I would do is click on add payment. It will automatically put in the amount that's owed. I can specify a tip if I want to, and I can choose the payment option, the payment method here rather. So you can choose cash, credit card, Yoko, ZipZap, or gift card, etc. So if I just choose credit card, I click on pay now, the payment gets captured and it reflects on the account over here, and this will then pull through to your payments reports. So at the end of the day, if you want to do a cash up report, you'll be able to see everything that's happened, all the payments that have actually come through, and it will reconcile automatically. So that has now been done. If I go back to the home screen, I'll be able to see over here that the appointment over here has been booked and it's been paid essentially. If I go to the My Business section, I can now go to reports and I can report on these appointments. So if I want to see, for example, a cash up report, and I just want to do a standard one, I'm jumping around a little bit, but I'll explain this in a minute. You're able to click on generate report, and it will show you everything that's been done on services, on retail, with the running totals as well. So just as a high level summary, imagine that we only did that one booking today and we only captured that one payment. Then at the end of the day, a manager or a receptionist would come in here and they would do a cash up report to make sure that whatever's been done for the day has actually been paid. And this is important because sometimes mistakes happen and a staff member might forget to capture a payment and the customer walks out and all of a sudden you don't balance for the day. So what this does, it allows you to see on services, we did 340 Rand today. On retail, we sold 180 Rand. We didn't sell anything on gift cards, with a total of 520 Rand takings for the day. Below this, we'll list all of your payments. So you can see card payments totaled 520, and we can see that the two amounts match over here. There was 520 done on services and retail with a 520 Rand payment for today. The two match up. We can close off today and go home happy. We also give you a breakdown of what each staff member did at the bottom over here. So you can really quickly see what each staff member did. You can see more detailed reports in the sales and revenue reports. So you can group this by staff member. You can see what each staff member has done for a specific date range. And that's all from the reporting section. The other cash up report that we offer is the advanced or the detailed breakdown cash up report. And this is generally a really good practice to do. Look, you should be doing a cash report every day to make sure that you actually balance. But there are going to be occasions where sometimes you don't balance and you need to see why. So in an example where today's taking was supposed to be 520 and I only showed 500 payments, I need to see where the difference lies. I could do a detailed breakdown for today. Again, I can just view this on screen. I can click on generate report. And what this is going to show me is a breakdown, client by client, everything that they actually owe. So I can see that this client came in, they saw this staff member, they bought this retail item for 180 Rand, and they didn't get any discount for it. They then also had a root tint with the same staff member for 150, no discount. Then he saw therapist 2, had a gents cut for 190, and this totaled 520. I can then see next to this client's name what payments have been made. So immediately I'll be able to see if there is a mismatch between the amount owed and the amount captured as payment on a client by client basis. So if this amount didn't match up, I could go to the staff member and say, what happened with this client, why wasn't the payment equal to the amount owed, and you can reconcile it that way. It's just a really quick and easy way to see maybe why a payment wasn't captured. And usually there's an explanation for it, but it's just to actually get that explanation. The other report that is quite useful is the sales and revenue report, and this is something I touched on earlier, where you're able to run a commission report for staff. And the best way to think of a sales and revenue report is basically an overview of what your sales and revenue is for both services, retail, and gift cards. So this will show you your takes for a date range. So if I wanted to see a sales and revenue report grouped by staff for the last month, I would just go to the beginning of June over here as a start date. I'll leave the end date as today, and I'm choosing by staff on screen. Again, all of these reports you can view on screen. You can download as an Excel spreadsheet, or you can generate a PDF document. So if you want to keep them at the end of the day, I'd recommend maybe downloading it as a PDF or an Excel spreadsheet. It just downloads straight to your laptop or to your actual computer. When I click on Generate Report, it will show me on a client-by-client basis or staff member-by-staff member basis what their takings were for the month. So I can see here Mark did 150 Rand on services, 150 Rand on retail, or the retail cost and sales price. So when you add a retail item, we allow you to specify the cost price as well as the selling price. And this is useful for calculating what your actual profit is. So yeah, I can see 150 Rand was done on services. The retail cost was 150, but it was sold for 180, totaling 330, and the same thing for therapists too. If you want to do a more detailed breakdown, you can do a detailed staff breakdown and generate a report. And all this does is it really shows you exactly what those items were for us to get to those totals. So if you need to do it on a weekly basis, you can do that as well. I see Daisy Wilson just asked the question saying, what if there is a walk-in client that only wants to buy an item only and not services? So really good question. There are two ways to do that. The most common way to do it is if you're already on the appointment calendar, you can, what you can do is you can right click anywhere underneath the staff member. So if therapist 3 sells this retail item, you can right click and say new retail sale. It's then going to ask you for the customer's name. So I'm going to say, this is a walk-in. I'm going to give the walk-in a name saying Joe Soap. I'm not going to put in any phone details. I'm just going to leave it as is. And I'm going to choose the retail item over here. And this person bought a conditioner, just one of them. And I'm going to click on save. This then adds the retail item directly to this client's bill. And it takes me straight to their account where I can now capture payment for it. The other way to do it is from the actual account screen. So if I'm just going to go back to the dashboard and I'll show you from scratch. If I click on the account screen, I can say create account, because again, what we're doing here is we're creating a bill. And the same rule applies here. I'm going to type in, John Doe, and I would then choose the retail item that they're actually coming for and click on save. So there's two ways you can do it. The most common way or the most convenient way is from the calendar. And the only reason I say that is because 9 times out of 10, you've got the calendar open because you're managing your bookings on a daily basis. The other thing that you can also do from the calendar that I didn't touch on was to create a closeout. So if I want to block out an hour of time for this particular therapist, maybe they're taking a lunch between 12 and 1, I can right click, say new closeout. I can just confirm who the therapist is. I can specify a reason. So we do give you some generic reasons, out on leave, absent, for example, but then we do also allow you to specify a custom reason, and you can just say on lunch from 12 to 1, and you can have it recur if you want, or you can just have it as a once off. You click on save and it creates that closeout for you. You can also move this closeout around like you would any other appointment. So if you want, you can just click and drag it, or you can extend it and make it shorter as well, like any other appointment. I want to move on to the online booking section. And the online booking section underneath the My Business section allows you to customize your online bookings page. So what SalonBridge does is we understand that the very vast majority of smaller salons and spas don't have their own website or web page. So we create one for you, in a manner of speaking. We create one that contains your business information, your logo, all of your information, and it allows customers to book. The online booking section allows you to customize the colors and the background colors, the text colors, and also whether you want to include a cancellation policy or not. For clients that have their own website, we do also allow you to embed the online bookings directly into your website. So you could just give this little code snippet to whoever manages your website, and the online bookings process would be integrated directly into your website. The customer would never have to actually leave your website to make that booking. The way the online bookings work is we give you this page, and this is your web address. You can send this link to customers. You can, we have a very popular way to do this is to actually link it to your Facebook page. So to create a call to action that's called Book Now. When a customer comes to your Facebook page and they click on Book Now, they get taken straight to this page where they can make a booking. The customer is not required to download anything to register with us. They would just come onto this page and click on Book Now. So if I, as a customer, were to click on Book Now, I would see your treatments that are listed over here. So if I choose a manicure, which I can see is 60 minutes at 290 Rand, I would click on that, click on Next, and I would then be able to choose which therapist I want to choose. So you'll notice that only 2 of the therapists are over here and not myself. And that's because under the manicure service, I only allocated therapists 2 and 3 to be able to perform the service. So when I mentioned earlier that you don't want a staff member doing a service that they're not qualified to do, this is what I mean. So it'll default to the first therapist that's available. As a customer, I can then see the availability. If a date has no availability, it will say that the staff member is fully booked, so they can't book on that day. So if I choose the 10th, for example, at 9:30, I will just click on the 10th, click on the date, and then click on Next. You'll notice that the clients can only see your available times. They can't actually see what you're doing. They can't see what your closeouts are. They can't see which clients you're seeing. They can only see your availability. And it does take into consideration the duration of the service. So knowing that this is a 60-minute treatment, it takes into consideration your existing bookings as well as when you're set to stop working that day. So the latest I can book here is 15:45 because it knows that I end at 5 o'clock on Tuesday. So if I keep it at 9:30, I click on Next. What it does is it checks for any conflicts in the background to make sure that there aren't going to be any double bookings. And because I've booked before, it brings up my information automatically. So while the customer isn't required to register with SalonBridge, every time once they've booked for the first time, their information gets remembered. So the next time they come onto your page, they don't have to retype their name, surname, mobile number, email address, anything like that. And we also do allow the customer to put in a note to say, whatever they feel might be relevant. So if I put in here, I may run 5 minutes late, this is bound to be a bad customer. I can click on Book Now and the booking gets made. The customer will get sent an SMS automatically, letting them know that their appointment's been booked. The staff member will also get sent a notification and it will appear in the appointment calendar automatically as well as the app. So if I go back to the appointment calendar and I jump to the 10th, which is when the booking was for, I can see here's the booking for 9:30 for myself for a manicure. I can see that the client notes have appeared automatically because it remembers the client notes whenever the client comes. And it also brings in the notes that the customer made as an appointment note where I said I may run 5 minutes late. So again, this pulls through to the app so the staff members can see exactly what their days look like automatically without having to call in or look at the book, so to speak, the next time they're actually in the salon. And that's basically how our online bookings work. I mentioned earlier that I'll touch on reminders. So underneath settings and client notifications, I can customize the notifications on how my customers get notified. So I can see here that I've enabled create appointment SMS, meaning that whenever an appointment gets booked, the customer gets sent an SMS. and it'll get sent. You can customize this message as well within reason. You can send them an SMS whenever the appointment time changes. If you cancel an appointment, you can send them an SMS, and the reminder SMS is probably one of the most popular notifications that we've put in, where you can specify to send a notification the same day, the day before, or 2 days before to let them know of their booking. Again, if a customer responds to any of these, they get sent directly to the business so you can see exactly what your customers respond with. I'm just going to take a quick break because I see that Hugo asks, what is the difference between my business closeout and the right-click closeout? There's absolutely no difference. If you go to My Business, Hours and Scheduling, you can add a closeout from here as well. The only difference is that if you're already on the calendar, you don't have to do it from My Business, and you don't have to go then to Hours and Scheduling. It's just a more convenient, immediate way to actually put in that closeout. Also, the one thing that if you go via the My Business section is you're able to do it for a range of staff members at a time. So if your entire business is closing for 2 weeks over the holidays, then I would recommend going to My Business, Hours and Scheduling, and creating a closeout for that date range for all staff members. Whereas over here, you would need to do it per staff member for that period. So if it's a quick closeout, maybe they're just taking the day off or they're called in sick, from here, it's nice and quick. You can just do it without having to actually ever leave the calendar and see what the calendar looks like for today. That's the difference. So yeah, that's how just coming back from the customer reminders, and how that works in your favor to help to eliminate no-shows and also to just better communicate with your customers. You are also, like I mentioned before, the system keeps full history of all of your clients. So if I go to the client section, and I can either search for a client or I can click on list all. And if I choose myself over here, what I'm able to do is see all of my information, when the client's birthday is, and a history of what they have had and any retail purchases they've made. So this is really useful if a customer walks in that hasn't been to the salon or spa in 6 or 7 months, and they say, look, I know I came for an appointment with you guys, I just really can't remember what I had or what I bought. Your receptionist or you can go straight to the section and immediately see what that client actually bought or what they had. You are also able to, from this section, send the customer an ad hoc message. So if you want to quickly send them an SMS to say, we have your in stock, you can say send SMS, and it will send them an SMS straight from the system. Again, if they reply to that SMS, it comes straight through to you again. And the great thing about all of these subscriptions with SalonBridge is that you get a certain amount of free SMSs every month that we just allocate to your account automatically, and they don't expire, they automatically roll over. So if you don't use them during that month, they become available for next month. And you can also top them up if you find that you're running out of these credits. Another really useful feature for SMSs is the marketing section. So if you want to send out a bulk SMS message to promote one of your services, you can go to My Business Marketing, you can click on Add SMS Campaign, you can give it a name, so whether it be a Mother's Day special, or maybe it's a particular product special that you're running, you can type in what message you want to send, when you actually want it to go out. So you can say, I want this to go out on Friday at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I want it to go out to all of my SMS clients. And the way we determine SMS clients is all of your clients that have firstly a valid mobile number, and secondly have given permission to send SMSs. So underneath each client profile, there's a tick box to say marketing SMSs. So if somebody opts out to it, that'll become unticked, and they will no longer receive these marketing SMSs in the future. But you can go in and change that if they do decide to change their mind. So that's essentially how that works. What I'd like to really quickly go over is the app, and this is going to be, I think that this actually deserves a video of itself. Excuse me, but what I'm going to do is I'll show you what the app looks like. I'm going to So I'm not sure how this actually looks on the live stream, but you can see this is what the app looks like when you open it, and I've logged into my account. If I scroll back and forth, I can see the various months. If I have a look at today, I can see that I've got a number 2 on the 5th, which basically shows me how many appointments I actually have. If I click on the appointments button, I can see those appointments. So if I click on root tint, I can see that the client is coming for a root tint. And if I click on this little purple icon over here, I can see the client notes as well. I can also subsequently add retail items just by clicking on plus retail if I wanted to add it to their actual bill. Or if I wanted to go and view their account and capture a payment, I can say view account, and it will bring me, show me what their account actually is. Daisy Wilson asks, will this work on the mobile app? I'm not sure what will work on the mobile app, Daisy. Are you referring to the marketing campaign? One thing to remember about the app is that it is designed as a companion. It is not meant to replace the web version as yet. It's designed for therapists and stylists to be able to look at their calendar, to be able to create bookings, and to be able to essentially just manage their day without having to log in or have a look from the reception desk. So from here, I can capture payments. And a really nice thing about the app is that we've integrated with a number of card readers. So iKhokha, Yoko, ZipZap. These work directly with the SalonBridge app. So if you've got the app open and you want to quickly capture a payment, you can click on add payment. Okay, I don't have anything owed, but if I type in an amount over here and I click on pay now, I can then choose a payment method. And if we've linked one of those card readers, they become available here automatically, and it sends the amount directly to the card reader for payment, and it just makes life a lot easier. This filters through to your main SalonBridge account. So anything you do in the app will filter through to your reports. If a staff member captures an appointment and a payment in the app, it filters through to the cash up report and the sales and revenue report as well. The way that you can also view your availability is if I click on time slots, I can see all of the available times for that day, and I can tap on a time. If I tap on the client's name to make a new booking for this particular client, I can just select that client. I can then add a service, hair, gents cut, and save. So from there, I really just made an appointment in about 10 seconds from the app. This will filter through automatically to the appointment calendar. If I switch back to my screen capture over here, I can see that at 10 o'clock, here is the actual booking. If I click on it, it'll show me that it was actually made via the mobile app as well, which is quite nice. So that's how that works, and it works really quite seamlessly. Again, the app is not designed to replace the console at this point. It's meant as a companion to help you manage your appointments. So yeah, this was the basics of SalonBridge. I scheduled an hour for this, and we've already hit an hour. And it just goes to show that there is a lot more that we can actually cover. You know, one of the things that I normally encourage is that from the SalonBridge website, if I just go to salonbridge.co.za, what you're able to do is go and actually book a demo or a trial directly from the web page. So you can come over here, you can click on free demo. It's going to ask you for your information, and you can actually get a free trial of the software. And what we normally like to do is actually do an analysis where we'll give you a call, we'll understand your business needs, and we'll actually try and be of service to you the best that we can. So I would encourage doing that if you don't already have an account. If you'd like to find out more about this, please do comment on this. This video will be saved as well. If you'd like to see more of these live sessions, let me know in the comments as well. I'd really like to find out if this is actually feasible and if you guys are enjoying it. You know, I think that given the complexity of some of the features, we can certainly have we can certainly dedicate live sessions to particular features like gift cards and client management and just reporting, for example. So if you'd like to see those, let me know what you'd actually like to see, and we can set that up. But if you do have any questions, you can always give us a call. Our office line is on 021 200 5889, or you can mail me directly, and that's mark@salonbridge.co.za, and that's Mark with a MARK at salonbridge.co.za. So I just want to say thank you to everybody for actually watching and for the comments and questions. I really appreciate it. Again, any feedback is good feedback. So please feel free to let me know if you'd like to hear anything else or if you have any questions. But apart from that, thank you guys so much and have a fantastic evening.